What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're talking about NIO and why it can skyrocket and potentially double according to a new indicator that I am watching right now. The year is almost over and I'm seeing some interesting activity. I posted on Patreon today on NIO's hedge fund activity. Hedge fund activity can be significant. You guys already know Kathy Woods over at ARK Invest. She has a huge impact on stocks. Well, there's also some very talented hedge funds out there that also have a really big impact on stocks. And no surprise, hedge funds do own NIO, which I want to get into in this video. Most hedge funds must perform, otherwise their investors pull out their money and those funds may go broke. So after I cover some NIO news, I'll be focusing our time on hedge fund activity and my thoughts on this game-changing information. So you guys are going to want to stick through this video. I think we're currently at some key levels for NIO and things are about to get very interesting in 2021. In addition to hedge fund activity, I'm going to place a price target on my 2021 expectation for this stock and see how much money we can make in 2021 because I'm really looking forward to getting stupid rich. So are you guys ready to get stupid rich? Let's do it. By the way, if you're new here, guys, my name's Henry. I worked on Wall Street at Goldman Sachs and a couple of hedge funds, and now I'm just making YouTube videos because I like my YouTube family and I want to educate others on stock market investing as well as options trading. All I ask is you like the smash button and subscribe with bell notifications. That way, when I make a NIO update, you guys get notified right away, and it also helps out the channel. I also have a couple links in the description, one being for Webull. You sign up, you get 4 free stocks after you deposit 100 bucks. It's basically free money. Go check that out. All right, let's discuss NIO and what I see going forward and what this stock is promising us investors for returns going into the future. This stock is up a lot in the past week. It touched the low 40s per share. And now we're actually seeing a new flame arise amongst investors, and this stock is having a reignition in its stock price, which is a very good sign to see. Now, you guys need to be aware that NIO completed its secondary offering, and after President Donald Trump signed a high-profile bill into law, which you guys are probably aware of, and it actually spooked investors, and it did affect some foreign companies. The Holding Foreign Companies Accountability Act requires publicly traded foreign firms to comply with US auditing rules within 3 years. The key word being 3 years, which has a lot to do with my logical analysis on NIO stock price in the future. The law affects 217 Chinese firms with a combined market capitalization of, oh my goodness, $2.2 trillion, as you guys can see here, which are listed on the US stock exchanges. The good news is there is time to comply, and companies that have money should not have an issue. Not surprisingly, those that have money can avoid certain issues in their companies or in life in general, and NIO is no different. They're a leader in the EV revolution, and they know investing in auditing and accounting compliance will serve them well as they conquer the Chinese market. And it only makes sense because NIO has a strong foothold in China, and those companies have seen their competitors, well, not necessarily for NIO, but they have seen companies have very bad accounting practices and they've seen those stocks crash. I'm talking about Luckin Coffee here. And you know, NIO does not want to go that route. NIO has tremendous success, and I'm pretty sure that they're not going to be cooking up their balance sheet. And NIO isn't new to investing in themselves. Earlier in December, we saw that basically there were some reports circulating that NIO had signed a deal with Intel's unit Mobileye. According to those reports, the two companies were working together on a fleet of robo-taxis. So very similar stuff as Tesla is trying to do. You know, NIO is trying to have a strong foothold on the future of EVs and the future of electric vehicles in China, and robo-taxis is going to be a very key indicator for them because there's such huge profit margins on things like robo-taxis. It only makes logical sense NIO will comply with US rules to keep access to the US public markets for their cash needs and their future growth. They're trying to go for a Tesla-like growth trajectory, which makes a lot of sense because the company wants to conquer the Chinese market. They want to have that strong presence so they can have that consistent cash flow and grow their business overall. Now we have compliance and growth out of the way, I want to discuss NIO's current price and what hedge funds are doing with this stock because it's hitting a new key indicator that I've been following for some time. Hedge funds and large money managers usually invest with a focus on the long-term horizon. Therefore, any types of bumps on the charts doesn't really affect them and change their opinion towards the company because that's not what their business model is. And this is also true of ARK Invest. We all know that Cathie Woods has a very long-term vision and viewpoint on any stocks that she invests in. You know, Cathie Woods and her team, they're not looking at the daily chart minute by minute, trying to find the very best little price change so they can make a quick term profit. ARK Invest is an ETF, and as an ETF provider, their goal is to get a good deal on a long-term stock so they can make a long-term profit and beat the index or the market, which is the S&P 500. And when I say beat the market, don't get confused and think, oh, they're going to beat everyone, they're gonna beat every single fund out there. No, they're not actually trying to beat everyone else out there. They're not trying to beat a certain stock. They're trying to beat a benchmark. That's actually how ETFs work. They track different benchmarks and they want to beat those benchmarks which they're tracking, which is typically the S&P 500. That's what ETFs do, and that's what Goldman Sachs and all the funds that I've worked at do as well. And that's what I do with my personal portfolio over on Patreon. I have ARK H, and that fund started with just $10,000, and now it's over $14,000. And I pick stocks that Cathie Woods has, but also stocks that I really enjoy and think can outperform in the long term. And most ETFs do something very similar. So now that we have that out the way, let's discuss the other side of money management in regards to NIO, which is hedge fund activity. Let's take a look at the hedge fund sentiment towards NIO to see what is going on right now. The research I found reading up on NIO stated that 35 hedge fund portfolios now own NIO at the end of the quarter of 2020, and the all-time high previously was just 30, so now we're at a current record. Interestingly enough, there's also another aspect to hedge fund activity that I am optimistic about, and that has to do with NIO not being a top popular stock amongst hedge funds currently. The most popular stocks include the big tech companies like Microsoft, Google, and Facebook, plus other financial technology companies. Facebook, for example, was in 210 hedge fund portfolios at the end of June. NIO might not be as popular as Facebook, partly because not all hedge funds want to expose themselves to Chinese assets. A quick mention about Chinese assets before I move on to what I could see making NIO more successful. Having Chinese exposure is a good thing, guys. I've said it many times on this channel and I will say it again, you need diversity. If you have all your money in the US and maybe you work here, you have a house here, you have your social security here, regardless of how small Social Security might be in the future, and all of your assets, does it make sense also being 100% invested in US assets along with all of your other income and assets? No, you have to be crazy to be that concentrated. NIO can become much more popular, but it may not be as popular because not all people see diversification as the same way, or they might just have limits on investing in foreign equities. Now, I don't think NIO is going to be owned by 200 hedge fund portfolios, but what can happen, which makes me very bullish, which is the current number of holders, which is 35, can double to be 70. The more funds get involved, the more other funds notice. It's pretty much like a network effect in itself. Funds have money and their activities interest retail investors. All the hedge fund activity and investor activity plus strong delivery growth for NIO can raise the value of the stock up to $80 per share and maybe even $90 per share if they handle costs better than anticipated. So I can see this stock doubling in 2021 given hedge fund activity, investor enthusiasm, and of course, guys, NIO's core business ramping up. I like the base that we have on the chart form. Just take a look. I think we have a strong support around the 40 level, and it's showing a very nice support that I think is going to be intact going into the future, into 2021, because EV stocks are just a high growth industry play, and I like having them in my personal portfolio. I have a decent amount in ARK H, which really helped the portfolio grow nicely in the past few months. I'm overweight on NIO, and I'm also overweight on Tesla. That's been a big contributor for me and many of you guys following me, so thanks for sticking around. I'll make sure to make another video on NIO, updating you guys what I see going forward. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's go ahead, let's get stupid rich, let's stay invested, and let's have a great rest of our year. Be aggressive in learning, guys, but be safe and invested.
No one ever sees me.